Good evening and welcome to Fitz News. I'm Alex2 and I'm your presenter. Today I'll be speaking about the influences of media in sport and telling you how it's positively and negatively affected it. Today, television has a large influence on football. It makes people aware of the activity locally as well as nationally. This can generate more participation in sport due to people being interested in it, therefore wanting to play it themselves. On the other hand, TV might be linked to the increase in child obesity, as a lack of activity might well be linked to computer games and television viewing. Sponsorship has had a ginormous impact on sport, bringing in much needed funds to clubs. For example, in football there does not seem to be enough sponsorship money going down to lower league sides in order to progress talent. Businesses are also keen to gain sponsorship as they receive media coverage, creating more awareness for their company. Advertising is another massive influence in football. Without it, many sports would not exist. Similarly to sponsorship, it brings in vital cash to run clubs. The media and television pick up on sponsors' logos. The increased coverage means that fewer people will participate as well as going to watch it. However, football hooliganism still serves to spoil some matches. Some events are impossible for many to attend, meaning they can watch it on the television, and reaches a far larger audience than could ever fit into a stadium. Because of the support and attendances, the clubs receive more money, meaning they can pay players more. Football includes pundits who are experts of the sport, perhaps being ex-players. These people analyse the sport after it has happened to increase knowledge for watchers. An example of a pundit is Alan Hansen. As well as offloading knowledgeable information to viewers, their negative opinions on specific athletes or teams could influence people's confidence. Narrative technique is how a commentator describes what is happening, helping us to imagine how an athlete might be feeling or what happens throughout the 90 minutes. This can therefore influence the listener's opinions of an incident, which can be very negative. Media has an influence on the rules of sport. An example of this is, of course, goal line technology, which has been pushed for many years by many fans. This makes the game fairer, being an extreme positive. The only negative of this rule change would be if you were on a team who had lost through the use of goal line technology. Local newspapers reports local teams very well, from under-11s football to major individual achievements. These stories are vital and essential to sell the local papers. National papers have the power to damage careers, as journalists' comments is published for millions to see. Many sport magazines can cover health, diet and fitness, which can have a positive influence on readers, as guidance may be very good. It also gives a lot of information about football, keeping people up to date. On the other hand, magazines are responsible for people feeling under pressure as they see such fit and slim models. A lot of journalists are accused of sensationalism, which is blowing things out of proportion and often completely making up stories. This can result in more papers being sold, being very beneficial to that company. However, it may give athletes extremely bad press, which can affect them personally. Media gives male sport a lot of attention in comparison to female sport, creating a major gender imbalance within football. This subsequently leads to less publicity in women's sport, but also less sponsorship. When women's sport is reported, they normally just have a few inches of text. The England's women's team got through to the final of the European Football Cup. Little was seen in the press, but there was some television coverage. Jingoism means extreme chauvinism or nationalism. We can identify examples of this in media when sport programmes focus exclusively on male athletes or on only one country's athletes. Jingoism can create national pride and increase unity between fans. Despite this, it can also cause violence, intolerance, separation of people and injustice as patriotism gets aggressive. Internet has a massive influence on attracting children away from active sports to solo activities, possibly causing the UK to have lower levels of participation. Despite this, the internet allows football to be more accessible. People can also communicate about sport through chat rooms, spreading information around the planet. Fan sites also exist, meaning people who are keen to follow a club can sign up and receive news of their favourite team or player. Fan sites can include things such as forums, blogs from fans or players, surveys and match analysis and much more. Merchandising has become a massive on the internet for football, with virtually all sports goods being available to purchase, from footwear to kits, being extremely positive for all sport fans as equipment is easily accessible. Merchandise is a type of advertising and creates a sense of identity between sports. However, this has led to the demise of some high street chains. Thank you for listening and good night.